Om. Reverence to truth and to all teachers of truth. In each of us, there are hidden spiritual potentialities for inner peace, light, and wisdom, leading to enlightenment. And yoga gives clear methods and advice on how we may bring out these potentialities and realize our innate freedom and fearlessness. Our true nature is peace, fearlessness, and bliss, and we won't be satisfied with life until we are spiritually awake. We therefore need to know about our deeper spiritual potentialities. Our latent faculties are so far-reaching that they can only be brought out gradually and through an inner training. This training has stood the test of time and is workable in daily life for those who are serious about it. Such people are likely to enter what is called a spiritual path. The spiritual path gives us a sense of direction and is the means of making continuous progress towards the great goal of life, enlightenment. So what is the path of progress in yoga? It is the path from bondage to freedom, from anxiety to serenity, from insecurity to fearlessness, from darkness to light. Ultimately, it is a path leading to knowledge that our true nature transcends all limitations and is essentially one with the Absolute. This light of understanding is not a matter of gaining something we do not already possess. It is more like a discovery, an unveiling, an uncovering of what we really are in our inmost nature. And during our apprenticeship, so to say, we learn to cultivate those tendencies which will help us to penetrate into this spiritual dimension within us, the realm of true independence. In following this way, we realize that our true helper is the spiritual power within. The real master is our deeper self, and that the source of peace and happiness is here in our own heart. Let us explore an account of this great path as it is expressed in the Zen tradition, namely the 10 ox-herding pictures. There are different versions of these pictures, and we will using and displaying those painted by the Chinese master Kakuan, who lived in the 12th century AD. From them, we can gain valuable insights about the stages of the spiritual path and the challenge that lies before us. Traditionally known as the ox-herding pictures, the animal in question behaves more like a bull than a mild-mannered ox, as will soon become evident. So in common with many Zen accounts, we shall refer to it as a bull. The first picture shows a young man standing in the midst of a scenic Chinese landscape, and he's looking for something. He looks to one side, and we have the feeling that he has been looking in all directions for something. The picture is called The Search for the Bull. It symbolizes the beginning of the spiritual quest, when we seriously ask ourselves, what is the real cause of my restlessness? This represents a turning point in our life. What leads to this turning point is the feeling that the usual distractions in which we take refuge seem to lead nowhere and bring no lasting enrichment to our life, despite all the time and effort we put into them. Yet we have the feeling that our life should be moving in a definite direction. But where and how? The answer seems to be hidden. Just as in the picture, the man does not know exactly what he's looking for or what he's meant to be doing. Then why search? Because intuitively we know there is something to be found which will bring fulfillment. Our mind is beginning to become sensitive to the deeper spiritual nature within us and needs a new kind of growth and expansion. The fact is that we are beginning to outgrow the limitations of our present mental framework. What we are searching for in this condition is really not distant from us at all. It turns out to be our true self. An old commentary on this picture reminds us, the bull has never been lost, but the herdsman turned away from himself. Friends, at this point, let us turn our attention inwards with the help of a breathing practice. And we shall use Om. So we sit upright, just make sure that this central channel of the body is free so that the air can flow just freely. So we breathe in O from the navel, slowly up, and release it slowly. Release it with We do this just for a few minutes. In the next picture, something has caught the herdsman's attention. He has noticed a track. Now he knows which direction he must turn in order to find out more. Translating this picture into our own situation, this sudden change can happen through the impact of some teaching that strikes us with its relevance to our personal position and throws light on something deeper within us. At this crucial stage, inner decisions are being made and expressed in the form, I must go further into this. It's important and may lead me in the right direction. We welcome information that helps us to follow these traces and make sense of our situation. Sooner or later, we will become active investigators, and in due time, our attention will be drawn to the radical idea that the source of peace is our true self. We shall learn that the cause of our frustration is our own mind in its unenlightened state, and we shall seek further guidance on how we can adjust our inner and outer life, so that we may transcend our apparent limitations and go free. In this picture, there is a breakthrough. It's entitled Seeing the Bull. The herdsman has been giving his attention to the traces, the signs of a track. Now for the first time, the bull comes into view. It is not seen fully, nor for long, but it has been seen. Seeing the bull means for the first time looking in a new way at our own mental activity. We begin to realize that far more than outer happenings it is our own moods and emotions that are influencing our sense of freedom or bondage, expansion or restriction. These are only glimpses, and we don't see the problem clearly, nor do we yet know what to do about it. All the same, this first real peep into our own inner world is an essential stage in self-knowledge. In daily life, we often tend to feel that it is other people who are restricting us. The yogic insight is, no. The root cause of all restriction is my own mental activity and lack of insight. If we can accept this, we are ready to begin the training of the mind. This training, if properly carried out, will not only bring us growing insight, but will open the way to the treasury of spiritual peace at the heart of our being. Before pondering the next picture, let us reflect briefly on what is going on. There is a bull, we have seen it. And now a choice has to be made. Do I really need to catch and tame this bull? After all, it's going to be rather demanding. And do I really need to change? Do I want to change? Catching the bull. A positive decision has been made. Yes, I must deal with this problem, which turns out to be the problem of the untrained and unenlightened mind. More specifically, the problem is how to convert the mind from its present state of restlessness and agitation to the condition of spiritual peace that I have heard about. This problem will not go away, yet time is flashing by and I have no peace, no real direction. Something must be done. Well, let us suppose that we have made the great decision. Yes, I will catch this bull. I will learn how to train and spiritualize my mind. We have accepted the challenge, which is the ultimate challenge of life. Now, as you see in the picture, don't expect a smooth run. Don't expect the bull to yield to your lasso without a struggle. There's bound to be resistance. But why is the bull furious? Simply because it is a creature of habit. It is deeply attached to the old ways and fears the unknown. But the true welfare of the mind, which the bull represents, only comes to light when we create peace and harmony within ourselves. It is then that the mind becomes a revealer of the infinite and immortal spiritual knowledge that underlies it. Friends, let us do another little practice. Let us help our mind to find rest in that higher spiritual principle, pure being, by placing it, as it were, in light and stillness for a minute or two. I sit in the direct light and stillness of being. I sit in the direct light and stillness of being. Om. The next picture is called Taming the Bull. This picture shows a definite advance. The bull is on the way to becoming domesticated, that is, tamed. It is following the herdsman, who is leading him by the nose ring. Note that the herdsman is still holding the rope, and it is not a long rope. In other words, the bull is being carefully controlled, but is no longer resisting this control. He seems to be falling in with it quite naturally and even contentedly. But we must not forget the short lead. It symbolizes our need to guide the mind with alertness and care until the destination is reached. The apparent contentment of the bull suggests relief that the mind has at last found a purpose and a goal. It is now being fed with the right food and does not need to be restless or in the dark anymore. The way of light and peace is open to it. What exactly is this spiritual training and what is its purpose? The purpose of training is to shift the mastery of the personality from the mind to the true self which underlies it, and which is the spirit of man. The true position is that the self is the inner ruler of the personality, the power behind the mind. Our training restores the mind to its true status as an instrument of the supreme spiritual power behind it. The mind is meant to be a clear channel through which the divine power and peace may flow unobstructed. This crucial leverage over the mind is symbolized by the rope fixed to the bull's nose ring. So the picture taming the bull denotes real progress, chiefly through making a spiritual use of the will. Returning home on the back of the bull. In this picture, the herdsman is calmly and joyfully riding on the back of the bull. He is no longer holding the bull, either with a rope or with reins. His hands are free and he is playing the flute. This picture symbolizes the deep change which has taken place in the mind. And in yogic terms, the main expression of the mind has now become sattvic, a Sanskrit word suggestive of peace, harmony, and a happiness that springs from within oneself and not from externals. At this stage, the pupil may well feel that he has done what he set out to do. After long application and dedication, perseverance and loyalty to the path, his mind is thoroughly improved and well controlled. But this is not the end of the journey, and there are dangers lurking in this condition. The great goal of self-realization must not be forgotten or taken for granted. The path to self-knowledge is a path leading to knowledge that our true nature transcends all limitations and is essentially one with the Absolute. So we must go on and penetrate this truth until we realize our identity with it. The advice is, do not rest satisfied with the limited peace which comes to the mind. Pursue the quest until the self is realized in its true nature. And be ready to let go of all limited ideas about yourself, even such sentiments as, I am established on my spiritual path, I am a servant of truth, I am dedicated to the good of others, to the good of all, I am a devotee. These are all mental ideas centering on our individuality, and the highest truth, our spiritual destiny, transcends all conditions. Now our herdsman pilgrim is ready to take a further step. The bull forgotten, the herdsman remains. The main thing about this picture is that the bull is forgotten. Before now it was not forgotten. What does this mean? For a long time our efforts are concentrated on trying to create in the mind spiritual conditions. As this progress continues, inner changes take place in the form of expansion of consciousness. A deeper phase of our nature comes into view, revealing something of the spiritual power at the heart of our being. Slowly but surely, the pupil loses his preoccupation with his own mind and its imagined virtues or imperfections. What now claims our attention and interest is the development going on at the center of our being, which can be indicated by the term spiritual experience. We now know that the way forward is through attentive silence and focused attention on our divine center, which is one with the Supreme. Thus, we follow the path of devotion knowledge. The grace of a higher understanding is closer than we might imagine. It is an inner revelation of non-duality and is revealed as a consequence of the cultivation of the highest ideal of spiritual living. Prepared in this way, the sense of limited individuality associated with the word I dissolves, and all restrictions of consciousness fall away. In an instant, the truth is revealed. This realization of non-duality is the experience of the sages. Bull and man, both gone out of sight. This picture suggests that the herdsman has come to the end of his journey. It is an image of empty space and indicates the transcendental nature of spiritual truth, which is beyond the range of speech and thought. There is nothing objective that can depict it, because in the end there is nothing objective. All is self alone, and we are that. Now there are two more pictures to consider. The first one is called The Return to the Ground and Origin. We see once more the landscape. In fact, nothing seemingly has changed. The tree is still a tree, the rock is still a rock. It seems as if the world of duality has reappeared. But for the sage, and only for the sage, the vision is of quite a different quality. Before enlightenment, as it were, the world of duality and its impression in the mind were taken as real. Now they are known to be unreal. When taken as real, the world of duality seemed to limit the self, to affect it, and possibly to harm it. In the experience of the enlightened sage, nothing whatsoever limits the self. Nothing affects it. There is nothing to fear, because there is nothing separate from the self. Anything that appears does so within the self, and has its being in the self, and as an appearance only. It dissolves in the self. The sage sees with the inner eye of wisdom that this whole world of plurality is a phenomenal appearance superimposed on the canvas of infinite consciousness. The changes which take place in the names and forms create no disturbance at all in this consciousness, which remains ever free and transcendent. The final picture is entitled Entering the Market of the World with Open Hands. To the onlooker, the sage appears to re-enter the world of appearances, the everyday world, and mix with the people as one of them, as if engaged in a real situation. But to get a clue to the true position, we need to recall that earlier picture where bull and man had both vanished. To the onlooker, there are enlightened beings, like the sage in the picture. They bring to mankind the spiritual food it needs in order to achieve the realization of the same divine truth. This is a very true and necessary picture from the point of view of the onlooker. The holy sages transmit to us the priceless knowledge that will enable us to transcend the limitations of life, including death, and to realize perfect, infinite freedom. From the standpoint of the sage, there is no such situation. The realization is self alone is the ultimate reality, and there is no duality whatsoever. The unenlightened see the sage in different ways, according to their degree of spiritual insight. But only self-realization will reveal that one's own self is the sole reality of the universe, and that, for purposes of self-awakening, the sage was one's own self in apparently objective form. The sage is thus, as it were, a unique means within the phenomenal world to bring about a spiritual awakening that in fact exposes the unreality of the phenomenal world and establishes the absolute reality of self as one without a second. A man in a dream sees his dream body and mind harassed by a dream tiger. A rescuer hands him a gun and he shoots the tiger. And the relief somehow awakens him. But when he awakens, the reality of all the elements in the dream equally dissolves. The sage is that particular appearance within the realm of appearances that can liberate those who feel they are in any way in bondage or darkness. He has a practical and acute understanding of the mental and physical worlds that he himself has transcended. There is a definite way to transcend the bondage, to dissipate this darkness, and the sage is to be resorted to and his teachings cherished as the way to freedom and light. This enlightenment exposes the illusory nature of all duality and brings to light the eternal fact of non-duality. The true sage is not identified with any phase of the world appearance, nor with any role within it. Such a role is assigned to him by others. To the unenlightened onlooker, the sage appears, as in a picture, to enter the marketplace of the world, with precious spiritual gifts to offer to the people. But in himself, he is infinitude and transcendence itself. And that self of the sage is not different from the self of the seeker. This identity, which has its root in non-duality, will be revealed Once our false ideas have been dissipated, it is then that we realize directly that the fulfillment we have been seeking is the fully revealed nature of our innermost self, and that we have never been anything other than that. Thank you.